Before we even get into this one, I'm gonna be completely honest. I'm biased here. This episode specifically is the one I watched as a kid again and again and again. I've probably watched this episode 30 times, at least. I wouldn't watch anything else from GT, just this episode. For a while there, it was actually the only episode I had access to. I watched it obsessively. Then the DVD started to get released. Of course, I got that DVD the day it came out and watched the Gogeta episode again and again, once more. I was obsessed with Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta as a kid. And honestly, that hasn't really changed. Even today, I love this beautiful bastard. It's a tremendous design, my personal favorite of the 3 Super Saiyan 4s. Nakatsuru, it's finally time to put you on the list, my friend. You have done so much heavy lifting for Dragon Ball GT. You had the impossible task of trying to follow Akira Toriyama in designing our characters, and you freaking did it. Over 64 episodes, you've delivered so many amazing and iconic character designs that have stood the test of time. This man is an absolute beast. You've earned it, buddy. For the longest time, Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta was the very definition of peak. He was the most powerful character in the entire franchise, and no one else even came close. Maybe Goku couldn't beat Superman in a fight, but this guy? Easy W. I would play him in the Sparking games, Budokai games, and even now in Dragon Ball FighterZ. If GT gave me nothing else, it at least gave me Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta. What a legend. But now it is my duty to remove that bias. Or at least, try to. How great was this episode, really? Does it contain the 4 grand problems I've spelled out today? The 4 major issues that have ruined so much of this series? Well, let's get into it. First of all, I'm just happy that fusion is even brought up at all. Logically speaking, 2 Super Saiyan 4 should be considering fusion if they're going to have any chance of taking down this unbelievably, impossibly powerful adversary. Now the problem is, how are they going to get the space to perform the fusion dance? And that's pretty much the first half of this episode. Our secondary characters actually get off their asses here. They know Goku and Vegeta have to perform a complicated dance, so they need to somehow buy them a few seconds. Bulma even gets involved and shoots her Brutes Wave machine at Shinron. Hey Bulma, shoot it at Gohan. We've seen him turn into a Grade 8 before, just shoot him up with the Brutes. Let him bathe in the Brutes. Goku and Vegeta watch the fight way off in the distance. They're so damn proud of their boys, finally doing something of value here in Dragon Ball GT. It's a miracle. They managed to perform the dance successfully on the first try, which is a minor miracle in itself. No time for failed attempts here in GT. You know our pace. We move fast. They perform the dance and Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta is born. The ultimate Dragon Ball character. And I stand by that. Sorry Ultra Instinct Goku or Super Saiyan Blue Gogeta or base form Kaba. In my mind, this guy is still peak. Gogeta is born about 7.5 minutes into the episode, and the introduction is perfect. He emerges from the light, and it's a Super Saiyan 4 design we haven't seen before. With the different shade of fur and the red hair, it almost feels like he's surpassed Super Saiyan 4. And I remember that being a fan theory for a while, that he was something beyond Super Saiyan 4 in this state. He introduces himself with the same line Gogeta used in movie 12, which is perfect. You can't top perfection, so don't even try. That line is so badass, you can use it every time Gogeta is born, and it will never get old. Then he blinks, and Shinron goes flying. At this point, I knew I was watching something legendary go down. He's so ridiculously OP, just comically OP. And the GT team actually does an incredible job coming up with ideas to make that come across for the viewer. After the blink, Shinron is sent flying once again by a move that is so fast it's literally invisible to the human eye. He has a bloody face and nose already. Then Gogeta says he'll slow it down on the next one so he could see it. The slow version of the move allows us to see him kick for a single frame of animation, once again sending Shinron flying. Yeah, I love this episode. They actually got really creative here with the moves. It's maybe the best example of less is more in all of GT. This is no animation masterclass like Gogeta's appearance in movie 12 or Broly, but seeing him absolutely toy with the strongest villain in Dragon Ball history, using hilariously overpowered moves to do so, is satisfying in its own way. I think there's a reason why I would watch it over and over as a kid and never get sick of it. Gogeta completely clowning this fool doesn't get old. Gogeta has this beautiful, giant aura surrounding him, and it's a great little visual reminder of just how much power this dude has inside him. It's like he can't keep it all contained in his body, and the power is just overflowing into this crazy huge aura. Gogeta takes a bunch of ki blasts to the chest and reacts to it like it was a gentle massage. Reminder, this is the most powerful villain in all of Dragon Ball. Shinron proceeds to fly full speed into Gogeta's elbow, and he kicks him away. Time to finish this. Gogeta threatens to use his ultimate move, and it's comedy. Oh no. No. Not now. Obviously, as a kid who just wanted to see fighting and blood and swearing, I wasn't a huge fan of this comedy. I remember thinking Gogeta in movie 12 was serious, so Gogeta in GT should be serious too. And you know what, little Anthony? You were right. This shit sucks. I don't mind the callback to Gotenks, who kinda established that fused characters get cocky and ridiculously silly even in a deadly serious scenario, but we're gonna learn very soon that we only have a limited time with Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta here in GT. Maybe if the GT team knew how to pace this damn show properly, we could have had Gogeta goofing around like this without taking up too much of his total screen time. But clearly, for them, that's out of the question. The confetti was the last straw. Shinron is getting desperate, and he creates this massive death ball using the power of all the Dragon Balls. We get this super drawn out scene of the ball being formed, then it slowly flies over to Gogeta, who kicks it away, and it flies off into outer space. It almost resembles a Dragon Ball Z scene with the slower pace and all the reaction shots. I've waited 60 episodes for this. It's about time. Gogeta then very slowly explains exactly what he just did and how he reversed the effects of the negative energy on the Earth. Now, if you've been paying attention to the last 89 hours of this video, you should know that I'm absolutely in favor of slowing down the pace a bit. I think I've made that clear by now. But again, I have to ask, is this the most effective use of Gogeta's limited time? By deflecting the death ball, Gogeta manages to wipe out the hazy pink and green skies that were a result of the evil dragons, and the Earth sky is returned to a regular blue. I kinda like those pink skies. They had a real vibe to them that I kinda was okay with. Anyways, after all that, Gogeta gets serious, and we witness the birth of quite possibly the single coolest move in all of Dragon Ball.
Big Bang Kamehameha!
It's a combination of the Big Bang attack and the Kamehameha. As far as I know, the GT team came up with that. That is absolutely amazing. Well done. As a kid, I always felt the impact of the move, but watching it back all these years later, I do wish the animation was a bit more exciting here. It's pretty static. For such an epic move, literally a combination of the two main characters' signature moves, I feel like this shot and this scene overall could have looked a bit more exciting. If I had to nitpick, I think some of my memories of this episode may have become mixed up over the years with Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta and how he looked in the games. Because in the video games, the Big Bang Kamehameha always looked so incredible and hit so damn hard. The teams behind the games have not only kept Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta's legacy alive, they've straight up enhanced his overall mystique in a lot of ways. Shinron is completely blown away, and we see the 6 Dragon Balls fly out of him. He immediately regenerates, but he's on his last legs. Gogeta is about to atomize the bastard with this next one, but just before he could use his big attack, they defuse. Oh boy. Sadly, this ends our time with Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta. Rewatching this legendary episode so many years later, my final conclusion here is I think it still holds up really well. Generally speaking, it's just fun to watch Gogeta do his thing in this episode and completely clown Shinron with ease. Let me remind you, he blinks and sends Shinron flying. That's so awesome. I definitely understand why 10-year-old me could watch this episode over and over again. The glaring problem is the GT pacing. Of course it is. Gogeta appears 7.5 minutes into the episode, and by minute 21, he's defused. That's a grand total of 13 minutes we get to spend with the most powerful being in all of Dragon Ball. That sucks. Why couldn't we get a few more episodes with this character? The other 2 fusions we saw in DBZ had a ton of episodes dedicated to their fights. Vegito vs. Super Buu was very similar to this fight. A complete ass whooping, where Vegito way outclassed Buu and was just screwing around with him. The same way Gogeta was screwing around with Shinron here. But even though it's a total blowout, it's fun to watch anyways. I love that Vegito fight. There's something so satisfying about watching our hero become overpowered and just lay an absolute beating on a powerful foe. A foe that seemed completely unbeatable just a few episodes prior. But back in DBZ, Vegito got to do that for 5 whole episodes. Here in GT, we only get 13 minutes, and some of that precious time was taken up by comedy, and that drawn-out scene with the death ball. Those would both be totally fine if we just had 3 or 4 episodes with Gogeta. I really don't think that's too much to ask. But no, for whatever reason, the GT team had to rush through Fusion and move on to the next thing. We're now 60 episodes in, and it's the exact same issue with pacing that has plagued the series from the very beginning. Well, if nothing else, Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta has stood the test of time. He may have only lasted for 13 minutes, but nearly 30 years after his debut, he's still a regular in the video games, he receives tons of merch, and he remains beloved to this day.